Dana Brooks has doubled her law firm not once, not twice, not thrice. She doubled the size, the revenue of her law firm 4 times within 14 years. It is a remarkable story of how she did it. And in this podcast episode, she is sharing many great insights that you must absolutely tune in and listen to because she is just such an amazing resource. Enjoy the show. Hi there. I have a small but really meaningful favor to ask you. I watch at the stats on our YouTube channel and Spotify channel, wherever most people listen and watch our podcast, and I see that over 80% of everybody who listens to it regularly is not a subscriber. I'm asking you to subscribe to this channel, and the reason for that is my mission and the mission of my team is to help as many small law firm owners to learn how to transform their law firms into better businesses, and so they in turn enjoy better lives. When you hit subscribe button, you tell these platforms that this is content worth listening, worth viewing, and they in turn will show it to many other small law firm owners and hopefully help me fulfill our mission of helping them create a better business and enjoy better lives. So would you please do me this favor? It would mean the world to me, and hit the subscribe button. And my promise to you is that I will continue to work hard at creating good content with practical ideas that help you and your teams grow better law firms. Thank you. Welcome to Grow a Law Podcast. I have an amazing guest, Dana Brooks from Fasig Brooks.
Okay.
Great to meet you.
You too.
I heard you on another podcast. It may have been with Ken Hardison many months ago.
Yeah.
And I made a note for myself that we got to get this lady onto this podcast.
Oh, you're sweet.
The one thing that you said that really struck a chord with me, I think that, and I'll try to quote you, it was something along the lines that rainmaking was the easiest part of running this business.
Yes.
And I have never, ever heard that from an attorney before. Ever. And I've met
You need to
thousands.
hang around more charming people.
Good point.
No, I find that the easiest. It's the contacts, the relationships building, the keep it up with people. I'm one of those people when I get up in the morning, I think, who do I need to reach out to? Who has not heard from me? Who have I not heard from? And I have this uncanny knack of manifesting people. After I think about them, I'll come across them. I don't know if that's the COVID vaccine chip working especially well on me. It could be psychic nature. I've been accused of that since I was a child. But if I think about somebody, they'll show up in my path. And rainmaking is nothing more than two things, in my opinion. I guess you call it charm. Somebody who wants to talk to you relatable. I'm late coming up here because somebody from a building next to mine came out and goes, I know who you are. I want to meet you. I always said if I got the chance to meet you, I want to meet you. And so what do? I come out, give him a QR code. He has my contact. I have his contact. This is my cell phone. I want to be your friend. Do you remember me? Yeah. You need a survey? I'm going to call you. You need a lawyer? Call me. You know anybody? I guarantee you I'll get a case out of that within 3 to 5 days. You just have to be relatable, accessible, and not just meet people's expectations, blow them away. I'm an advertising lawyer. So when people get to see me, I'll meet that expectation. I want to be a superstar. I want them to think they've met that girl that's on TV all the time. So you have to be memorable. You have to be charming. You have to be relatable. That's the rainmaking stuff. That's the easy stuff. But that's the maintaining the relationship, keeping it up. The reason why I say it's easy is because to me, it's just existing in the world, just meeting people, just doing what I do. I just found a way to incorporate the ask. Hey, will you remember me when you have a case? Will you remember me if somebody gets hurt or whatever? So it's the ask, and people are very uncomfortable. But it's the maintaining the relationships. But it's so much easier to me than waiting for somebody else to drop a case in my lap. That makes me feel dependent. That makes me feel weak. It makes me feel like I was a defense lawyer again. I don't like that. So to me, this is the easiest thing to do. And it's the most important thing to do, because if nobody's making any rain, nobody's got anything to work on. You can be the best lawyer in the world. If you don't have a case, you're just an educated person with nothing to do. So I think that's the easiest part. Now, why do people not do it? Because you have to put yourself out there. You have to be exposed. You have to be ready for one of these people you come up to and say, hey, I like you. Would you call me? And they'll go, no. I'm not particularly impressed with you. I don't like women. I especially don't like bossy alpha women who are upsetting the natural order. It could be anything, but you've got to develop thick skin if you're going to be a PI lawyer, in my opinion, because anytime you enter a courtroom, everybody hates you. They think you're up to no good. Your intentions are bad. So if you're thin skinned, everything hurts your feelings, and you really care a whole lot about how other people who don't know you think about you, this is not your gig. But if you can be a rainmaker, you don't have to do those really hard things like sit in that office for hours and read those horrible cases and argue with people who hate you and stuff like that. You give other people opportunity. The last time I went to trial, when I found out I could pay somebody to do that, I thought, you're never going to see me in front of a jury again. And I'm good at that. I like it, but this is hard. And the ROI is not there. One case, I'm gonna work 16, 17 hours a day for a month, give up all the stuff I would have done for what? I don't care if you give me $20 million. I'll never get that time back. I'll never get those gray hairs back. I'll never get that AFib back that I developed. I'll never get that colon that got so bad from stress that I had to get half of it removed. I'm not getting that back, even if you give me that $20 million verdict, because then you're going to appeal it. I'm going to have to wait another 10 years to get a dime out of it. That does not turn me on. But rainmaking and giving the opportunity for other people who do get jazzed up about that, I'll do that all day long. Give me my cut.
I love it. You're so animated. You're hitting on all the right things business-wise. Whereas most attorneys just don't think the way that you do. The conventional thinking is like quite the opposite of the way that you approach your business. You're just brilliant at business, and I think it's your charming personality, but you also have deployed a system for doing all of this.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I learned this through observation of other people. I had a very privileged a great privileged opportunity to learn from a medical malpractice insurance defense lawyer. And I came up as a medical malpractice insurance defense paralegal. So I saw that model. And then I married that person. He started his own firm, and I saw what it was like to try to take that book of business and start your own firm. They have you trapped. That model, there's just nowhere to go, because if you're young and you're up and coming and you're a superstar, those people who already have those insurance adjusters and that book of business on the defense side, they're not going to give you an opportunity to shine. You'll just take the business and take that insurance adjuster in all those cases. They'll back the truck up, take the cases, and they'll start the firm. And then next thing I know, I got nothing for retirement. So there's not an opportunity to grow there. What I have done was observe that. And I thought to myself, there's a lot of talent being wasted over, and I understand the business model. It's not ego, it's livelihood. They have to protect that. So I would see this. And so whenever I got the opportunity to go to law school, I graduated law school 3 days before I turned 40. I became a named partner in a 30-something-year-old established PI law firm at 4:30 on the same day I was sworn in as a lawyer at 11 o'clock. Okay. Made a named partner, lawyer, same day. I'm the luckiest person. You should always rub my head if you see me. Okay. It'll come off on you. But I also had to hit the ground running. I was a med mal lawyer, and they said, you better start suing doctors today. And I'm like, oh. And they threw me in the deep end. I had to try a case and be a first chair lawyer after being a lawyer 6 weeks. It was a 2-week trial. So you just do it. You just do it. But what I learned was people will give you an opportunity that you can't believe is coming. And if you're brave enough to say yes and commit to yourself that whatever happens, I'm not screwing this up, then do it. Too many people say no. That opportunity been presented to 5 other people before me. And all of them said no, or they tried it and they failed. They were all men. And I think that was because you figure there's another door right behind this one. If I don't walk through this one, I'll walk through that one. And I've got 2 or 3 other backup plans because I'm a white dude in America. Okay. I'm not. I had nothing. I'm scrappy. I came from nothing. So when I had a door open for me, I said, hell yes. And I am not screwing this up. So the minute I did that, got my chops, got all the slings and arrows and bullets fired at me as a trial lawyer all these years. Next thing you know, they're like, you want to buy some more shares? Here's 10. You want to buy some more? You want to grow this firm? You seem to have a business sense. I used to manage law firms before I was a paralegal and before I was a lawyer. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of do. I kind of get what works. It's harder on the plaintiff's end because you don't have widgets. You don't have billable hours. Okay, you got to watch cash flow, and you got to be really good at assessing the value of a case, reasonable, optimistic, pessimistic, and when it's going to pop. How long do I need it before it turns into cash? Okay. Get them, How long do I keep them before they turn into cash? That's how you manage your money on this side. That's very different than the defense side. Okay. But while I'm coming up in this plaintiff side, they're giving me more and more opportunities. I'm remembering all those people I saw on the defense side, all the people like my law partner, Carrie Roan, the people who had come up and they had all the potential and everything, but they just couldn't get their shot because somebody was crowding them out in the defense world. But they were learning, but they just didn't get the opportunity to shine. She's now the best producer that I've ever had. She was cut out to be a plaintiff. Women as plaintiff attorneys, there is no limit to them because they have that natural nurturing and trust building, and they really love and look out for people. So that's kind of my ace in the hole. I got another woman partner, Kimmy Hogan. She came to us right out of law school. She's never been mistreated. She's only been loved up in this environment, but she made the most of that. And she's so good. She's a silent killer because she's really small and petite and blonde. And she looks like she would not harm anybody. And she will never raise her voice. She'll never threaten you or whatever. She will just come get your money. She is awesome. I have a very involved male partner who appreciates women and is blown away by their competence and their abilities. And so his ability to say, hey, listen, y'all do a lot of stuff better. And I dig it and I'm here for it. His ability to set aside his, ego or conditioning, training, experience in this world helped him grow and helped him create a law firm that has really just blossomed. So how do you do it? You pay attention. You see who's getting people with potential are getting passed over and not given their shot, and you give them a shot. It's kind of like rescuing a dog. Some of them are bad. You get a good one, it's the best dog you've ever had in your life. So a lot of people don't get their shots in the legal world.
Fascinating story. And you said that you came from scrappy beginning.
I'm sorry?
You said that you came from scrappy beginnings.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your childhood like?
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. I tell people I've had more aces than any Vegas car dealer. I was born to young people who had no business being parents. Lucky for me, my mother's only just shy of 19 years older than me. My dad's 21 years older than me. My dad was just not ready for that. He opted out of all forms of adulthood. He was horribly abusive physically and every other way. And my mother had to raise me by herself. She had a high school diploma, but couldn't go to college, obviously. And but very, very smart, very book smart. My dad's a street hustler. So I'm perfect. I got both of it. I'm real academically bright, but I am very charming. And I can read energy and read rooms. So together, that mistake turned out to something very, very productive. But no, I had nothing. My dad ruined my mom's credit. We rode around Pensacola, Florida in a 1971, no air conditioning, having Pinto until she could build it up. Any moment we could have been killed had we been rear-ended. So I learned from a very tough mother. My mother wouldn't take any government assistance. She was a very proud Southern woman, and she worked, and whatever we had is because she provided it. And the minute I was old enough, I went to work. I went to work with her. She worked for the county government. I did that for a while. And then we got into a private law firm, and that just blew up. Once I was around those lawyers, they started giving me opportunities, and that just kind of set me on my path. But, all my college, I had to pay for myself. Anything I ever did, I had to pay for myself. I was not going to burden my mother any more than I had. I owned my first car 8 months before I had a learner's permit. I'd saved up so much money, and I wanted to have wheels, and I had to have independence. So I've always been a very tough, independent, scrappy chick.
You're incredible, and it's an incredible story. I'm curious. I know that your law firm is rapidly growing. You're expanding geographically from Florida. I think you expanded it to Alabama, Georgia, perhaps somewhere else. How are you
I don't
growing?
know. This is what I'm doing right now with my time is I'm trying to be very smart in how we expand because when I go around speaking, a lot of times you will hear me, I'm the cautionary tale lady. I'm coming here to tell you what not to do. I've learned that thoroughly. I know you don't just throw money, even millions of dollars, into a saturated market like we tried to do in Jacksonville. I've learned that that's not to do. I learned what you have to do if you really want immediate success is find a practice. It's almost like being a venture capitalist. Go find something that's got enormous potential that they're mismanaging or not recognizing. Go in, right their ship, and then either make money for you or sell it off to somebody else. Now, I'm not selling it off because I'm a venture capitalist. I want to keep it for myself. So that's what I realized is the way to go. Like we acquired a law firm in an area where two partners were not yoked. They didn't have the same philosophy about growth. They didn't have the same discipline about policy, processes, systems, accountability. And so one of them was kind of doing the same. Let's just fly by the seat of our pants. And one of them was like, no, I'm ready to grow and scale, and I've structured it and I've invested in it. And they just weren't yoked. You know what I mean? So we were obviously more inclined toward the person who was a little more systematized and metrics driven, that sort of thing. And so that just worked. He goes to somewhere where the other guy went to somewhere where his personality fits, what he's doing now. This guy came into our thing. It was a seamless transaction. But what was so good about it is in this market, the guy who came with us, he's boots on the ground, man. He's homegrown. He's from there. Everybody knows him. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is when you are acquiring other firms or expanding into other areas. You've got to have somebody shepherd that, unless it is a completely unoccupied or underoccupied field. And please know what you're doing when you get to expansion. Like I have I use Blue Shark. I love them. But there's a person there, it's Nalini, but we've got other people who work with us. She's put it with us. But we look at the market. Okay, you want to go into this area? Well, let me show you how many reviews you need to be taken seriously as a player in this market. Okay, this one, don't even try it. You'll never get there. But if you acquire these two firms, they're already players. They're already in the hunt. So go talk to them and negotiate with them. If you would just understand how this world works, and this is not about practicing law. Does everybody know PI has nothing to do with practicing law? It's just the widget we're selling. This is a business. Okay. You understand how this business works. So understand how it's going to work, how you're going to be successful. You're going to have boots on the ground. You have to have instant credibility. You have to have somebody who will shepherd you through this process. Sometimes that can be an older dude, usually a dude, who's got an established practice, but they want to wind down, but they want to get some for it. They don't just want to shut the door. They want to get some for it. Be careful with that. I've done that too. And you could end up just taking in a bunch of his terrible cases he's not treated well. A lot of sad, miserable clients, or a lot of clients he's been doing work for in exchange for a bushel of tomatoes. Very hard to turn that into cash. So just a lot of times when you think about expanding, your ego gets in the way. You get really big. Oh, I'm going to be in this place. I'll be all over this place. Well, is that the right person to get into that market with? Now, there's two ways to expand, in my opinion, geographically and practice area. There's a lot of complementary practice areas for PI. You're thinking workers' comp, Social Security. You may be thinking even criminal defense, employment law, and family law. I would caution you against that. Nobody likes their family law attorney. If you know anybody who had a contentious divorce, who had any money, they fired their attorneys. They went through 2 or 3 of them, and they don't say anything good about any of them. Sometimes they rehire the first one. It's terrible, but don't get involved in that. Okay, so you want happy, recurrent clients. You don't want problematic people who are going to blow up your reviews and screw you up. You enter a family law into that, you've hurt yourself. You enter criminal defense law. Listen, you did it. You know you did it. I can't perform a miracle. You're probably going to do some time or pay some money. Well, I hate you. I'm going to blow you up. You suck. You can't risk that. So be very careful about just partnering because you got a buddy who's doing family law and y'all cross refer each other case. Sometimes that just needs to be a cross referral relationship. We just send each other cases and trust each other and then shepherd those clients through that. So be very careful about practice areas. Employment law. I live in Tallahassee, Florida, which is a capital city. I have a lot of government workers here. That's sovereign immunity caps. Don't love that. Employment law. Most people got to eat. So when they get fired or whatever, they get another job. So those damages are limited. So is that really your money thing? No, you might get into an employment law guy winding down just to get his list of current and former clients so you can call them for their family members and their loved ones auto cases. So just know that everybody you're talking to has a certain limited value and maximize the value that they can contribute, but don't fantasize. It's amazing how lawyers who are supposed to be in pursuit of the truth will fantasize and not see things that are right in front of their faces and ignore things. And I say that because I do it. I'm working on it. I'm in recovery. But yeah, there's a lot of things you're just going, oh, I don't see that. Oh no, well, she's not really that smart. Oh, she's just not performing yet. She just needs more training. Trust your guts. That's one thing I would tell you. If your instinct is telling you this person's probably not going to make it, stop fighting that. Lean into it and say, why do I believe that? And if you're wrong, flush it out now. But a lot of times we'll just go, we're just reading him wrong. Just give him another 8 months, 10 months, 3 years. Now he's been here 10 years. I have to fire him. That's not good.
Aside from mergers and acquisitions, fancy way of putting buying other law firms, what other mechanisms do you have for growing your law firm? I know you're doing a lot of things.
What was your question again? What was the...
What do you do to grow your business aside from doing mergers and acquisitions?
Well, again, I'm cautionary telling this. I don't pee in the ocean. I live in a town where there's only so many people, and it is not a tourist town. And so I'm looking constantly at data. There's only so many people are going to get in a car accident, and only so many of them are going to get hurt. So many of them are going to get over the obstacle of wanting to pursue a claim. Not everybody sues. And then of those who do, why are you going to pick me in a very saturated small market? I have a lot of competition for this area to be as small as it is. So you just have to be realistic. So how much more money am I going to put here? That's what I keep telling my people. You will have this problem in PI because they always tell you 50% of your advertising dollars are wasted, but you don't know which 50%. That's true. So it's getting better with digital that you can measure ROI, and the attribution is getting supposedly better, but not really, because most of the people who come to you, they may have saw that number on a digital ad and called it, but that's not the first time, and that wasn't the convincing time. They'd seen me 900 times before they decided I am going to call that blonde lady. So I don't know. Other than expansion, don't expand stupidly. Don't spend money when you've saturated that market. Think about practice areas. Think about, one of the things I like to do is, who have I been writing checks to? That's what I ask my people all the time. Anytime I need to raise money, I go to my bookkeeping department and say, who's gotten a check from me? Who are the top 10 people I've given the most money to? I need a contribution to this fundraising event. Easy. Number two, who am I sending referral fee checks to every year? Oh, I sent you a $400,000 fee. Then where am I? Where's my other stuff? Let's talk. Let's love you up. Let's have you over for a dinner. Let's do something. But if you don't pay attention to where your money's coming from and where your money's going to, then you might be wasting time on the wrong relationships. A lot of us spend a lot of times on relationships with people who just blow smoke up our skirts, tell us we're great, tell us how pretty we are. Oh, I just saw you. Oh, I love everything you do in the community. Where's my case? Where are my cases? I keep going to dinner with you. I keep going to lunch with you. I keep doing all this stuff with you. We're not really friends. Where are my cases? So stop wasting your time. If you only have so many hours in a day, if you're the rainmaking type of person, so make sure the things you're spending your time and effort on pay you back something. And I'd like to engender a sense of responsibility. I just did this for you. Where's my case? What's wrong with that?
How many lawyers do you have working for you now?
I'm sorry?
How many lawyers do you have working for you now?
That's a fluid thing. Now we're a little bit less. This is another thing. If you're going to expand and grow and run a personal injury law firm, pay attention to your numbers all the time and your flow. We had a flow problem. We were taking cases cradle to the grave. That's a mistake, I think, but people will argue with me on that. Cradle to graves means, you come in, you just got hit. I'm working you up. I hope I can settle it in pre-suit. But if I can't, I'm going to file a lawsuit. We're going to litigate it. We're going to mediate it. We're going to go all the way through. I'm going to be the one trying the case. I'm doing all that stuff. I feel like that is not a good system. I think there's more wrong with the system than is good with the system. Okay. So that caused us to reduce our lawyers. And now I have two extremely good people managing pre-suit and a bunch of case managers, file openers, into all that kind of stuff under that. And there is a committee that makes a decision whether something escalates to litigation. It is not an individual lawyer who is siloed off by themselves in an office, not sharing cases and shopping cases, anybody else making that decision. Because what I was seeing is I'm getting clients having an inconsistent Fasig Brooks experience. Your Fasig Brooks experience should be somewhat consistent no matter what lawyer handles it or whatever. And I was getting wildly different because basically I was a franchise model. I had a bunch of little franchise law firms. And this McDonald's ran this way, and this McDonald's ran a little bit different. And this McDonald's like to be real aggressive, and this McDonald's like to be a little. You can't do that if you're trying to grow a brand. That will hurt your brand. That will absolutely disintegrate your brand if it is not consistent and reliable for everybody experiencing it. So we stopped doing that. Now, there's a lot of arguments if you're smaller for continuing that, because people don't like getting used to a new lawyer or new people. But if you think about it, when you go to your doctor, you're not hanging out with that girl who checks you in the whole time. You know she's just checking you in. The next one's coming in, she's just getting vitals and just a gestalt of why you are here. And then there's going to be somebody possibly coming in with the person who's going to treat you, maybe making notes, maybe doing some things or whatever. But you know that you're talking to the person who's going to make the decisions when that person enters the room. So it's all about the handoffs and the expectations if you want to do an assembly line model, which is what we're doing. An intake is a quick intake. I don't have them a bunch of forms because people get turned off with a bunch of forms that come in their phone right away. You get them under contract right now. Then tell them, the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to have a file opener call you, and they're going to get a certain amount of data. So when we get it to that case manager and that lawyer, they are ready to go. They are not, waiting on anything. We are ready to rumble when it gets to that point. And they're like, yes, this is a team. This is a plan. I love this. So I think it's better. The problem with the assembly line technique, though, is you'll get people like, that's not my job. I'm a file opener. I don't order records. That's records ordering. I'm case manager. I don't do money and trust. That's a lien resolution person. So you got to watch that, but that's leadership. That the fish rots from the head. Anything problem in your firm, that's your fault. Every problem is a leadership problem. So fix yourself and everything else will follow. How many lawyers do I have? Now, because of this new model, I have the two that are splitting, running pre-suit, and then I've got a dedicated litigation team. That should be better for us because you get most of your money from litigation, but only if you have the time to work it up. And when you're doing cradle to grave, you got 200 cases, you are not litigating well. I don't care what you say. You need to be able to close that door, sit down, really think something through, look at some research, get a strategy together and plan it out. So now that I'm doing that, I've got 2 more dedicated litigators who have an associate available to them. And then I have another location that is set up cradle to grave because it's just a smaller operation. And this is something else. If you want to talk about growing a law firm, this is the most important question I would ever ask somebody on a podcast about that. Why do you want to grow it? Do you really want to grow it? I make about the same amount of money as I did when I used to practice law. And it was just 3 of us, and we were scrappy and going to court.
Why is that?
Why is that? Well, first of all, I only take out a certain amount of money. It's a lot. A nice lifestyle, but I only need a certain amount of money to live on. And so right now, what we don't take, we are reinvesting in growing the firm. Me and my other primary partner. We have a certain amount. You're making the money.
You're making the money. You're just keeping it in the business.
Well, the firm's revenue is exploded. We've doubled about 4 times now.
In how many years?
This is another thing you'll learn about growing a law firm. You will get to $5 million and get stuck. Yeah. You'll get to about 7.5, 8, and you'll get stuck.
In how many years did it take? How many years did it take you to double 4 times?
From 2008 to 2022.
Got it. So in
but we're
14
stuck again.
Years.
Now we're in 8 figures, but we're stuck again at a particular point. But I think the point I was trying to make about the scaling part of it is to keep scaling, you have to keep investing. You keep reinvesting and stuff. It's not like you just get there and you take all the money and then you got to build it. Now you're in a machine. Now you got a machine you got to keep going with. Okay, so now you got to look at buckets. Okay, is my advertising within 18 to 22% of my gross? Are my attorneys no more than 20% of my gross? Is my employee no more than 30% of the gross? Is my profit margin at least 20%? Because honest to God, they will say this, and I think it's the truth. You could screw it up on every level, and you ought to be making 20% on a PI law firm. Okay, I've got people in my mastermind groups who, their profit margins in the 50, 48, 45%. So we set that and we back into it.
Net profit margin.
I'm sorry?
Their net profit margin is 48, 50%.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll give you an example. This is about knowing how to expand and knowing your market. This man is in Long Island, up there, New York, all that kind of stuff. Does he try to be in New York, New Jersey? No. But he owns Long Island, and so he doesn't have to spend very much money. because he can buy micro cable. That's another thing. Know what you're doing. Where I am now, it's whack-a-mole. I don't have enough data when I buy a broadcast or cable because my market's too small to know if people are really watching. They're still filling out the Nielsen things. That's nonsense. I don't want to know what a 72-year-old who has nothing to do but fill out a Nielsen's is watching. He's not going to sue anybody, and he's got too many priors for me to want to mess with. Okay? Not really. Call me. Call me 72-year-old man. I'm here for you. No. So, but in other markets like his, he knows exactly how to get to people. He could surgically buy cable in Long Island such that his marketing part of his budget is maybe 9%. When I'm expanding, mine may go to 21, 22. I try to keep it at 20, try to keep 18 to 20. But now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lawyers plus the 2 shareholders that don't carry active case losses. So yeah, usually it's like 9. We've been as high as 10 at some time. It's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes lawyers are cheaper. I got some of the best lawyers ever in 2010 after the market crashed and everybody was graduating lawyers with $200,000 of debt and no jobs. I had a recruiter call me from UF and said, I got some top graduates who haven't really clicked and found a job. And I've got to show that they have at least a year of employment to get my placement data where I need it to be for our rankings. Can you just give them a job? Call them a lawyer. I don't care if you pay them $15 an hour, whatever. So I said, give me 3 of them. 2 of them are awesome. One of them's a named shareholder now. The other one's a shareholder in another place doing great. And the other one says, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. And sometimes that's a good thing too. Expose them to it. Do you want this kind of, no, I don't want this at all.
100%.
I had a guy leave and he juggles. Now he works at a toy factory and he makes ice cream and juggles. And he's a happy man. I know a lot of unhappy lawyers.
Why do you want to grow so much?
Because my law partner wants to, and I need something to do. I'm not going to go backwards. I'm not going to go back and do anything I've ever done before. And so I need a challenge. This is something I'm good at. I have a business sense for it and I like it. Minimally, if it doesn't work out when I'm exploring these growth opportunities, I got another referral network. I got a person sending me cases for something. So it's not a lost effort at all. But Jimmy Fasig wants to grow. That's what he wants to do. And I'm yoked with him and I don't not want to grow. I just see it for what it is. I don't have I think this happens with a lot of women. You just don't have that ego component to it. So you're looking at it more rationally, like what's it going to cost? What am I going to get for it? Brooks isn't even my name. That's 2 husbands ago. That's just the name I had when I branded. I haven't been a Brooks in many, many years, but that's the name of the firm. So
if you were starting over today and you had a law firm that was doing $1 million in revenue and you wanted to quickly scale to 8 figures, low 8 figures, knowing everything that you do now, how would you do it?
If I would have quickly scale, I had $1 million firm, I was onto something and I wanted to quickly scale it.
Yeah, to 8 figures.
Is that the question?
To 8 figures, yeah. To
8 figures.
10 million.
Well, I would literally get some outside help. And that is what changed us. We were on the struggle bus for real after the market tanked like 2010, 2011. We just could not get it together. I had a big old verdict, $1.5 million verdict, and we couldn't get the judge to rule on it for 14 months. We really needed that money. We were that small. We really needed that $400 or $500, $1,000 back. So we, as desperate as we were, we spent money. We did this during COVID. We hit the gas, not the brake. Paid off. So it's not a reckless decision. You need to make a calculated decision. But we knew what we were doing wasn't working, and we couldn't keep going. And it was either shut the firm down or hire people who knew more than we did and get their advice. That's how I got into Ken Hardison's world. He was the first person we called, and we came up, we cobbled together because this is coming out of our pockets at this point because the firm hadn't made any money. We're not. We were. I don't think we had borrowed any money yet, but we were not making any money, and we were paying our staff, but we hadn't taken a draw in a long time. But we came up with $14,000 to pay Ken Hartson to come down, spend a couple of days, and give us his thoughts and tell us what to do. And we listened to him. He gave us a reasonable basis for why he was doing it. We talked to some other people. We vetted him, and we talked to people he was helping, and we implemented the changes, and we started turning the corner. And so that made us start listening to other people. We got into some mastermind groups. I encourage you to do that. And there's more of them now than there ever have been. Vet them. Okay, vet them. But you need to hear from other people, do what you do in other areas who've experienced similar challenges that aren't exactly the same, who aren't competing with you, so they're willing to share with you what they've learned. So I think that's the thing. Spend money whenever you're afraid to learn things you don't know, and then once you start making money, you have money. You got to watch the other trap, which is like the last couple of years. You couldn't find me in this town because I was on a plane going to another mastermind. I was doing Vista. I was doing this. At some point, you got to come home and implement this stuff. You got to stop drinking out of the fire hose and come home and institute the policies, procedures, processes, accountability, metrics. You can get overwhelmed, but you need to have a foundation set up in your firm, and then you go to learn how to make it better through these other people. But if you don't have your foundation done and you're running to all these masterminds, getting all these ideas, it can be distracting to the point of unproductive. So I would get outside help. I would spend a little money. And this is another thing. If you're dealing with vendors, I really learned the hard way. Don't deal with any vendor who doesn't do PI or understand PI. We are not like any other animal. Okay, you are not a car dealer. You are not a wills and probate lawyer. You're not an insurance defense lawyer. You're not a criminal defense lawyer. What we do is so specific. If you're not dealing with vendors who are in the game, you will get eaten alive. Your money will get eaten alive. Like if you're not dealing with the few people who are absolutely wizards at the digital online for PI or the SEO or the website people or whatever, you got to go and find the top three. And you get that from listening to other people and vetting them and stuff. Find the top three people who know about this. And go to them. These people who dabble, like I would never, ever deal with an advertising agency or somebody who doesn't know about PI law. We've tried that in the past. That's $100,000 that you can say bye to right there. We've done it about 2 times. And if you go to a general agency, you've got to pay them it's going to be about $100,000 for them to just understand what you do, just to get the research done to understand how PI is so different. You're paying them to learn your business. And then they'll come back with the general buy they would have given every single other person. No, a PI client is not an all-comer. Okay, they're only certain kind of people. It's very much geared toward women because why? Are women the ones always getting hurt? Women are always the claimants? No, but they're the ones who make you hire a lawyer. They're the ones who are tired of seeing you mope around, tired of your attitude, tired of you not helping, tired of you not bringing money into this house. Go call a lawyer. Tired of you moping around. Go get to that doctor. You know, you talk to anybody, you talk to a man or a woman and ask them what the name of the kindergarten teacher is. What neighborhood we have to live in to go to what school, who's going to be the orthodontist. It's never going to be the man telling you that. It's always going to be that woman. I mean, I'm being general. Please don't come at me like, oh, I'm a really enlightened dude or I'm whatever. Okay. You know, congratulations. I'm talking about generalities because I'm talking about advertising and growing a personal injury law firm. But in general, that's how that goes.
Dana, great insights. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Congratulations on your journey. It's absolutely remarkable.
Thank you. Thank you. I've enjoyed this. I love this topic. And if any of your people ever want to talk to me about it, call me. Like I said, I've done a lot of things that didn't work out.
What's the number?
So I would love to prevent that for as many people as I can.
I appreciate it. What's the number to call?
You can call me. This is my cell phone number. Just text me and tell me who you are. 850-766-2825, Dana Brooks. Or you can email me, Dana@FasigBrooks.com, DANA, and Fasig is FASIG, BROOKS.com.